Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour will launch as a paid digital game on the same day as Nintendo Switch 2. So please check it out.
To a little detail here, this PS5 Slim has an 825GB SSD, but the PS5 Slim that they were shipping previously had a 1TB drive. I like paying the exact same amount of money for 175 gigs less storage.
Hey everyone, Xbox Game Pass is getting an upgrade.
What the heck happened to gaming? Oh, I think I'll just play the Wii Station X instead. And she's fully functional now. We have one HDMI out, one power in. We have the Wii in HDMI, true HDMI. We have a GameCube port patched to the front. We have USB, so we can add our removable drives. We even have temperature gauge, and we can change channel. And we have the PS3, change channel again, Xbox 360. And the best part, we've bypassed all the copyright protection. So if we want, I can even screen capture. Howdy y'all, welcome to the DIY channel. I love my old Wii Station X, and all these functionality upgrades, it is only improving every time. So we've got a lot to cover, so let's get into the video. €40 for the full setup. The only downside to the Wii, no HDMI, but we can fix that. Take off our doors, and then we need to undo all the screws, which are in the most annoying places ever, like under stickers and under feet. And to make matters worse, you need the special Nintendo 3-prong screwdriver, and some of the holes a universal one won't actually fit in, but when in doubt, drill it out. HDMI mini, RF sensor, AV HDMI. You need a soldering microscope. This is certainly the most necessity. And they weren't joking. Even with a magnifying glass and my zoomy phone camera, I could still only just see what I had to solder to. These tiny vars, we have to scrape off the varnish, tin them, and then solder on our AVE HDMI kit. Although I had gotten past technically the hardest part of the mod, my crappy DIY soldering iron let me down. If you're going to do this mod, I'd advise following the true Electron Shepherd guide and having the right tools. I'll put a link to the mod in the description of the video. So where I went wrong is when I was tinning one of these contact pads, I accidentally dropped a bunch of solder into the pins of the chip. I tried for days to fix it, but I ended up doing more damage than good and ended up just having to buy another kit and remove the AVE HDMI mod and reinstall a new one with my nice new soldering iron that is actually designed for this kind of work. So don't let a broken mod get you down, just give it another go and you'll be alright. I finally got this to fire up in true HDMI with 480p. It's not quite HD, but it's a lot better than 480i. The most noticeable difference is going from analog to digital. Can you tell the difference? We have the digital on the left and the analog on the right. Much better than these cheap analog to digital converters if you ask me. And not to mention all the extra controls we get with the real HDMI mod. We can put enhanced DVI mode into widescreen for the ultimate gaming experience. But I do prefer using GameCube controllers, so let's set up a patch panel to the front of our PC case. So I didn't really want to have to take the ports off the Wii. I want everything to be plug and play. I was hoping I could cut this and use these ports and make like extensions. I got these cheap knockoff controllers. We could cut the cables off and solder them directly into our patch ports. Ooh, it's so close. Problem is, these are too long, so before we can do that, we need to try and bend them, which means we need to heat them up a lot, and I'm worried we're going to mount the cable. So if I slip this into a bit of copper, we should be able to protect the cable, clamp that in the vise, heat it up, and bend it over. Bending! And this worked very well. I just needed to file the ends flat so the case could clear and then work out which wire goes where. All you need to reverse engineer wiring is a multimeter. You'd be amazed at what you can find out with just a simple beep test. Oh, yellow and brown. If you want to learn more about how to do this, go back and watch the first video in the series where I made all 3 consoles run off one PC PSU. I'll link it above and at the end of the video. So all I did was plug it into the port and then beat tested each wire to each pin so I knew which one to solder where. Now we have a nice extension box and I can reuse the old circuit board to secure the wires down so that if the wires are pulled at all when we're putting this in, it's not going to pull any pressure on the solder joint. GameCube controller adapter, but that's our player 1 and that will be our player 2. If we need more players than that, we can use our Wiimotes. So player 1, player 2, brilliant. Next we're going to make a USB jumper straight from the USB header. So I'm using the USB plug from the GameCube adapter and I'm using a USB header jumper that I was going to throw out at work. And you can get these crimp kits dirt cheap on Amazon or even cheaper on AliExpress, or just solder the wires directly. But I want to keep everything modular, so if I ever change case, I'll have no problem. And now we have 2 USB ports off one header, so I've patched one to the Wii and one to the Xbox. And it powers our temp gauge. Next we need to mount our 3-to-1 HDMI switch, also known as a KVM switch. So we can plug in our Wii, our Xbox and our PlayStation, and we only have one output. It has some mount points on the back. We mark the location, drill it out, bolt it on. Looks good, but we can't access the switch to change channel or see the LEDs. So we'll drill some holes and then we can use a half squeezed rivet. So I've only just squeezed the start of the rivet so that it can work like a switch. We just need to cut the end off. We want to cut it a little bit extra long. Now to stop the center falling out, I'll use a hammer on the inside and then I'll flatten the outside.
Stop! Hammer time!
Perfect. Now we can figure out how long we need the bolts to be. And before I cut the bolt, I always wind a nut on to wind off later to save the threads. I'm going to cut a slot into this bolt so that we can use a flathead from the outside to hold it while we tighten the nut, effectively making a stud. And because I put a nut on earlier, I can just wind that off and that tidies up all the threads for me. And after that, we're going to connect the barrel jack to 5 volts. Normally the inside is positive, outside is negative. I want this to go here. So this Molex to SATA adapter, making it modular. White stripe is positive, which goes to red, 5 volt, positive, and black to black. These are nice thick wires, so I just twist them and solder them together. Trim off the excess, and heat shrink the joins. The KVM, I'm going to patch it to the outside. So we have one HDMI out, and then we can just change the channel. So I put it up a little bit higher so that I can remove the KVM if I need. I like to have everything removable, and I just mark where the holes are so I can transfer the mark over to make a good guesstimation. Punch them out. That makes it easier to drill in the exact spot. And give it a file up, tidy up, and we're ready to screw the KVM in and then plug everything in. That's our Wii, that's going to be number 1. That's our output, that's our power. PlayStation and Xbox is a bit more complicated. We have to use 2-way HDMI splitters to bypass copyright protection. This one we power from USB, put our HDMI from our console, and then we put our output to our KVM. All wired up, all closed up, ready to fire up. Loading, it's taking too long. Let's play PlayStation. Oh yeah. Updates. Oh no. Oh, let's play Xbox while it does the update. Thanks for watching, y'all. Hopefully next time I'll have everything I need to do the water cooling on this beast. So let me know in the comments what you think so far, and if you've got any ideas for this thing to make it even better. So I'll catch you all on the next one.